Okay, this is part 19 of Nos4a2, Haverville. In late March of Vic's senior year, her mother walked in on her and Craig Harrison in Vic's bedroom at 1 in the morning. It wasn't like Linda caught them screwing or even kissing, but Craig had a bottle of Bacardi and Vic was very drunk. Craig left with a shrug and a smile. "Good night, Mrs. McQueen. Sorry we woke you." And the next morning, Vic took off for her Saturday shift at Taco Bell without speaking to her mother. She wasn't looking forward to getting home and certainly wasn't ready for what was waiting when she did. Linda sat on Vic's bed, which was neatly made up with fresh linens and a plumped-up pillow just like a bed in a hotel. The only thing missing was the mint. Everything else was gone. Vic's sketchbook, Vic's books, Vic's computer. There were a couple of things on the desk, but Vic didn't immediately register them. The sight of her cleaned-out room made her short of breath. "What did you do?" "You can earn your things back," Linda said, "as long as you stick to my new rules and my new curfew. I'll be driving you to school from now on and to work and anywhere else you need to go." You had no right." "I found some things in one of your drawers," her mother continued as if Vic had not spoken. "I'd like to hear your explanation for them." Linda nodded at the other side of the room. Vic turned her head, this time really taking in what was sitting on her desktop. A pack of cigarettes, an Altoids tin containing what looked like red and orange Valentine's Day candies, some sampler bottles of gin, and 2 banana-scented condoms in purple packages. One of the condom wrappers was torn open and empty. Vic had bought the condoms from a vending machine at the Howard Johnsons and had torn one open to make a balloon character out of it, inflating the rubber and drawing a face on the side. She had dubbed this character Dick Face and had amused the kids in third period study hall with them, walking him across her desk while the teacher was out of the room. When Mr. Jaffe returned from the men's, the room smelled so strongly of bananas that he asked who had brought pie, which caused everyone to bust up. Craig had left the cigarettes one night when he was over and Vic had held onto them. She didn't smoke, yet, but she liked to tap a cigarette out of the packet and lie in bed smelling of sweet tobacco. Craig's smell. The ecstasy tablets were what Vic took to make it through the nights when she couldn't sleep, when her thoughts whirled shrieking through her head like a flock of crazed bats. Some nights she would close her eyes and would see the shorter-way bridge, a lopsided rectangle opening into darkness. She would smell it, the ammonia stink of bat piss, the odor of milled weed wood. A pair of headlamps would blink on in the dark at the far end of the bridge, two circles of pale light set close together. Those headlights were bright and terrible, and sometimes she could still see them glowing before her, even when she opened her eyes. Those headlights made her feel like screaming. A little X always smoothed things out. A little X made her feel like she was gliding, a breeze in her face. It put the world into a state of smooth, subtle motion, as if she were on the back of her father's motorcycle banking into a turn. She didn't need to sleep when she was on ecstasy, was too in love with the world to sleep. She would call her friends instead and tell them she loved them. She would stay up late and sketch tattoo designs to help her across the gap between Girl Next Door and Fuck You Dead Stripper. She wanted to get a motorcycle engine above her breasts, let the boys know what a great ride she was, and never mind that at 17 she was, pathetically, almost the last virgin in her class. The little gin samplers were nothing. The gin was just something she kept on hand to swallow ecstasy. "Think what you want," Vic said. "I don't give a fuck." "I suppose I should be grateful you're at least using protection. You have a child out of wedlock. Don't expect me to help you. I won't have anything to do with it. Or you." What Vic wanted to tell her was that was a pretty good argument for getting pregnant as soon as possible. But what came out was, "I didn't sleep with him." "Now you're lying. September 4th, I thought you slept over at Willa's. In your diary it said..." "You looked in my fucking diary? You slept with Craig all night long for the first time ever. You think I don't know what that means?" What it meant was that they had slept together, with their clothes on, under a comforter on Willa's basement floor with 6 other kids. But when she woke, he was spooned against her, one arm over her waist, breathing against the back of her neck, and she had thought, "Please don't wake up," and had for a few moments been so happy she could hardly stand it. "Yeah, it means me screwed, Mom," Vic said softly, "because I was tired of sucking his cock. Nothing in it for me." What little color was left in her mother's face drained out of it. "I'm keeping your personal items locked up," she said. "I don't care if you're almost 18. You live under my roof, and you'll live by my rules. If you can follow the new program, then in a few months—" "Is that what you did when Dad disappointed you? Locked up your pussy for a few months to see if he'd get with the program?" "Believe me, if I had a chastity belt somewhere in this house, I'd have you wearing it," her mother said. "You dirty-mouthed little hooker." Vic laughed a wild, agonized sound. "What an ugly person you are inside," she said, the most vicious thing she could think to say. "I'm out of here." "If you leave, you'll find the door locked when you come back," her mother said, but Vic wasn't listening, was already on her way out the bedroom door.